What's up, guys? Professor R here. Today I'm going to be talking about a very sensitive topic in regards to back pain. Yeah, it's very sensitive, man. As you can tell by the tone of my voice, this is some shit that I really went through. Like, being in my mid to late teens, man, this shit was really bothering me. And as far as where it came from and how I dealt with it, I'm going to be discussing it. So, as far as where it came from, it's just compound interest. It's a compounding interest effect of going through one event and another event leads to another event leads to another. So at the ripe age of 16, I was involved in, playing a bunch of sports. I also took a hobby in weightlifting as well, and in the process of doing so, I, sitting down a lot, come out with improper stretching, come out with improper warm-ups, and at the time I felt really great. I felt incredible. But then wear and tear happened. Wear and tear happened over the course of me training and over the course of me, doing sports and shit. Then I ended up developing not like sharp pain that was to the point of being excruciating, but it was mild. And then from that point on, it just got worse. Like, it just got even worse than what it seriously was, where it's supposed to be, whatever, right? And then fairly recently after, I was involved in a car accident, and that resulted in me having, I knew my back was fucked up before the car accident. Like, my back was just, it was awful. So you have, weight training, combined with sports athletics, combined with sitting in front of a damn desk all day doing work. And come to think of it, there were several things I could have done in the past, but shoulda, woulda, coulda, but you didn't. And there's no point in harping on the past. The past is an illusion, and the future is anxiety. You shouldn't stress about the future, but you shouldn't stress about the past, because that's all an illusion. It happened already. And that's what I learned over the course of experiencing excruciating pain. Now, as far as describing the pain, sciatica was a bitch. Holy hell was it a bitch. It's basically an acute pain. So at the age of 16, I learned what sciatica was. It's basically an acute pain that shoots from a portion of the nerve, of a disc, whether or not the disc is slipped, herniated, or bulged. And it pains at a certain nerve, and it tickles all the way down to your goddamn toes. And it feels like pins and needles. It's like you're walking on the woman pinch your legs. And I remember my legs feeling like a rubber after track practice. Running all the fucking time, whatever. Combined with the weight training that I was doing at the time. Well, it wasn't really like legitimate weight training. It was just like, fucking around with 20s and, squatting occasionally. Combined with sitting at the fucking desk all day. And the pain got really shit after a car accident, and it got worse. It got even worse than it should have been. And I ended up finding out that I had, it's crazy. So I had two bulging discs, L405, and a herniated disc in my neck at C whatever. I can't remember what section it was, right? But it's funny because like the herniated disc, I never felt the herniated disc. Never did. Like, in my neck, never felt it. I never felt it, whatever. Even as I crack it, but the bulging disc, I felt it all the goddamn time. It was always there. And how I dealt with that was, initially I started trying to get more flexible. So at the age of 17, I was stretching a lot more. It was the first time I touched my toes, which, yeah, I wasn't that flexible at the age of 16. I wasn't flexible at all. I wasn't gifted with the flexibility. And I'll stretch a lot. I'll go out. And I purchased a Swiss ball. And I learned certain stretches and movements you should do with the Swiss ball. And that helped the pain. That alleviated the pain immediately, like, immensely. The pain was just like, the pain subdued. I noticed a 9-day difference. Then I ended up going back to what contributed partially to the overall fatigue, to the overall back. I went back to weight training. This weight training, of course, was accompanied with heavy movements, heavy hip thrusts. So your boy did sumo deadlifts, and it was crazy. So conventional deadlifts were never in the car for me. I always had like a really, really wide frame, but I had a very lanky frame. And it didn't accommodate my build, it didn't accommodate my stature. And so whenever I would perform a conventional deadlift, it was as if my back was rounding in a sense, and you don't want that. Like, rounding, whatever people say, you don't want rounding if your purpose is if your purpose is structural integrity of your goddamn ligaments, you want to build muscle around these proportions and body proportions, whatever. Rounding is not something you want to partake in at all. That's my whole opinion. I know there's a counterculture in regards to rounding. Everyone's supporting rounding now for some reason because the pendulum swung back. But from my perspective, rounding is not something that you should partake in. So I perform sumo deadlifts. And when I tell you that this movement pretty much just zapped away all the pain that I had gradually, so I was getting stronger and pain was just subduing. Holy hell, I felt better in my, early 20s than I did in my late teens because of it. I can't thank sumo deadlifts enough. And people rag on sumo deadlifts for how, it looks girly, it's not manly, you're cheating. Bro, I ended up getting rid of my back pain via sumo deadlifts. I can't, words cannot describe how thankful I am that this movement exists. And it's so liberating to be able to bend over and pick something up without experiencing excruciating back pain that I experienced when I was in my mid to late teens. Like it's just, so whenever people rag on sumo deadlifts and they talk shit about it, I simply laugh. Because it's the wannabe powerlifter in them, the strength corporal within them, and that's what I personally calls them, the strength corporal within them, that they love strength to the point of not being able to go outside of boundaries, that arbitrary boundaries that are set by this medium of the cool kids. It's basic bitch NPC training. The NPCs have conditioned you to believe that sumo deadlifts are not real deadlifts, therefore you should not be performing them, and conventional is the only way to go. However, it is your job to think for yourself. Think for yourself and decide whether or not you want to hang with the cool kids, these brainless NPCs who simply just in it for. Again, these people are intelligent. It's sad how high IQ they are. But when you speak to them and you say that they go outside the convention, what you find out is when you reveal who you truly are, their eyeballs get wide. And this perplexity on their end it's them thinking, oh, holy shit, I can't hang around with this guy because he's compromising my position in the spot. He's compromising my position in the group. And I can't let the group know that I associate myself with this guy. That's why whenever you expose your political beliefs or your philosophical beliefs towards a particular topic, you don't masquerade, like you take the mask off, you don't reveal who the hell you really are. When you reveal who you really are to people, they immediately ostracize you, they outcast you, they distance themselves from you because they're afraid that you're compromising your position from the herd. And that's what sumo deadlifting, in my humble opinion, I'm getting philosophical, but that's what, it's almost like that's the consensus of YouTube fitness. It seems as if there's a movement that seems a bit girly, you shouldn't be performing it, and we have a set group, a set boundary that this is your box. Do not deviate from this box. If you do so, we will ostracize you and make fun of you for doing so. And I might be looking into it hard, but I don't really think I am. But that's essentially how I got over my back pain. I performed a bunch of, and also what helped the sciatica was I would take ice baths before they were cool. ALS bucket challenge. Well, not really. I got a bunch of ice, and I got a bucket of ice, placed the ice inside that bucket, dipped my toes in that bucket. And I remember doing this routinely to get rid of the fucking pain, man. It was just like, and what happens is your lower body gets all numb and shit, and the pain is like gone temporarily. And I would use that to train around it. So I'll perform leg movements or whatever. I try to do pistol squats, but I was so uncoordinated. I couldn't perform pistol squats correctly. So even to this day, I can't do a single pistol squat. But I'll try bodyweight squats to get my structural integrity better, to get my posture better. And it wasn't until I incorporated sumo deadlifts that my back pain, it's just like, my back is stronger than ever. It's incredible what you can accomplish with a movement that the naysayers say you shouldn't perform because, you should perform this conventional movement. It's as if they think I made a video about it, but it's as if there's like some sort of unspoken powerlifting tribe that you're just prescribed to from birth, and you're somehow cheating now. It's like, motherfucker, what powerlifting federation did I join at the age of 7? What loyalty do I have towards your crowd? Like I swore no loyalty towards your conventional deadlifting god. Like sumo is my religion. Leave me alone. But that's basically how I got injured. It was a combination of a comedy of errors. So improper weight training combined with improper sports and athletics combined with, you know, an unfortunate accident that occurred, leaving me very, 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 very paranoid of driving cars, by the way. It was just like, oh man, yo. It's getting a bit personal. I didn't want to make the video, but I decided to make the video because it might help a couple of people out there. If you're experiencing this back pain, I do have confirmed 2 bulging discs right now, and I can move around and jump around and run around as if I don't have these pains. Because, believe it or not, even when I was in high school researching this shit, whatever, because professors and teachers thought I was some sort of guy who would go into the medical industry. By the way, it was the first time I learned that X-rays, if you have a herniated disc, a slip disc, or a bulging disc even, X-rays will not reveal that. If your health insurance does not cover X-rays because you have an HMO, if your health insurance does not cover MRIs is what you need. Like you need MRIs to determine, to properly diagnose what the fuck you have. And MRI is going to reveal that shit. It's going to reveal everything. It's not going to, nothing is hidden within an MRI. It's going to reveal if you have a slip disc, herniated disc, everything. It wasn't until that car accident that I decided that because my insurance was dog shit, it was horse shit. I couldn't determine, I couldn't identify the problem. It wasn't until that I got even more fucked up. It wasn't until I got even more fucked up that they said, yo, wow, Professor R, you have this, you have that, you have this. And man, it was a growing pain I had to experience, it was a growing pain I had to go through. But even doctors, even the medical industry is behind in regards to what should be done with back pain treatment. They say stay away from heavy movements and be sedentary for most of your life. Take it easy from now on. Are you really gonna tell a kid who's like pushing his late, teens to take it easy? No, like a kid wants to, run around and jump like everyone else. Like, and that's the mindset I had. I don't want to live myself to this arbitrary, state of, oh, you can't do this because you have this condition, you can't do that because you have that condition. No. If my dad can put in 50 plus hours a day working his job, then why the hell can I not get over this minor ailment, this minor stick in the mud, this minor flat tire, and just keep on going, keep on trucking, come on down, don't look back, don't harp in the past, just keep moving forward. And I remember thinking to myself, and it's funny because I wrote a paper on this shit, whatever, a letter to myself in 10 years, and on that letter I wrote back, do you still experience back pain? Do you still have an excruciating pain that trickles down to your spine, all the way down to your toes? And to my former self, I can gladly say that I don't experience that pain anymore. I don't experience that pain no longer. I'm completely I'm healed. And it's awesome to say that. So that's essentially how I got over my back pain. I stretched, I meditated mentally, I performed my sumo deadlifts, I went against the grain, and I found a way that worked. I went around it, I got shit done, and that's it. Not sound like I'm boasting or anything, but that's how I got over my back pain. Peace, guys.
Fatality.